Hi there, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. I have learned so much about eczema in the last 6 years. So I had pretty bad eczema. Now that I'm not sure if I can call it severe now that I've worked with so many people who've had it way worse than I had it, but in 2017 I had eczema that started out as a small patch on the inside of my elbow that spread so quickly to cover most of both of my arms, started going onto my wrists, my hands. I had a small patch on my face, and the speed at which it was growing was absolutely terrifying. Long story short, this entire channel documents that process. So if you're like, what did she actually go through? You can watch my old videos and see me document all the stuff that I went through with my skin. But I became an eczema coach in 2018, where I started helping people through the process of healing eczema naturally. Okay, so I ran different programs and taught people in different ways, but in the last 9 months, I started a new program January of 2024, and I've learned so much from my clients. I've been really focused this year on my clients. I launched a 1-month-long program, which then now kind of ended up turning into an 8-week-long program. And the things that I've learned through coaching them, I'm really excited to share with you today because they are a little bit controversial, but it's really interesting to hear anecdotes from real people who have eczema and see what it's like. Okay, so let's just dive in and I'll give you some examples. So a lot of my clients this year have come off of different medications. So I've learned a lot about medications for eczema, ranging from steroids to they're prescribing a lot more prescription pills for eczema now. And so now I'm kind of learning about methotrexate and Sabinco and all the different types of immunosuppressant medications. Okay, so through that process, I've watched different types of withdrawals. So I had a client she had been through a couple different sort of prescription medications, and she was sick of it because the biggest thing that I've ever learned is taking prescriptions for eczema is like chasing your tail, and it only prolongs your suffering. And it's weird because it prolongs the suffering, but it also like prevents some suffering. So while it's kind of putting a band-aid on the problem, the amount of time it's going to take for you to genuinely heal is so much longer and gets longer and longer and longer the longer you use prescription medications. And what it often looks like is they will prescribe topical steroids, you start taking them. Now, if your body's pretty like volatile to where you're really prone to eczema, you have to use a lot of steroids, and those steroids start not working, and that becomes steroid addiction where you have to use it or you're reacting. And from there, so okay, let's say you just use all those steroids and now you are like, okay, I'm using steroids and I'm breaking out, and your dermatologist keeps upping your potency of the steroids, okay? Then what's gonna happen is a couple of things. You either go back, you're like, hey, the steroids aren't working. Oh, great, okay, well, you can take Dupixent, which is an injection, and that medication, there's side effects where you'll get facial eczema or you'll have issues with your eyes, but it's okay. You can take Protopic, tacrolimus, or Elidel, and it'll fix that problem. You know, that is not a steroid. Do that. That's kind of one path. Another path is, okay, like you keep going to the point where you're so severe, you get hospitalized. From hospitalization, they give you oral steroids, and it's just a whole thing of chasing your tail over and over and over. So essentially all these clients have now come to me being like, I want to do this naturally, because what I've learned through this process is it's the only way out the other side. And I watch a lot of creators online who have TSW or topical steroid withdrawal, for those who aren't familiar, or who have eczema. And I just think to myself, I wish we could work together, because I think there's a lot of things that I am able to help with that, and I'll explain what those are. I'm not trying to be elusive in this video, but my clients are able to make leaps and bounds beyond a lot of these creators that I see online who have eczema, and like they're making huge mistakes with it, and I wish I could help them. So a little bit of a ramble, but getting back to the things that my clients do that I'm seeing creators not do is these things, okay? So I've had clients go through really severe TSW this year, and they're making miraculous results. I have a client who at the end of May decided, hey, I'm gonna get off Sabinco, I'm gonna get off of topical steroids, I'm ready to do this naturally, I'm sick of the whole process. And he went through TSW, and it's pretty severe. He had really bad facial reaction and actually started losing his hair. But he was really consistent with the supplements and the diet, and noticed every time he strayed that he would react. Now, the supplements and the diet and the way that I approach eczema healing that I'm gonna try to teach you today is it's very much about understanding the organ and the biology, organ systems and the biology of eczema, because that's how my clients get over the hump and make it to the other side, is by understanding what's going on and supporting it naturally. Now, it's very complicated, and some of my clients have had like multiple conditions at the same time that we've worked through or worked with. Like, for example, I had a client who deals with hypothyroidism or like Hashimoto's, and so we're dealing with her thyroid and we're dealing with her eczema, and believe it or not, she lost a lot of weight working together in a healthy way so that she actually started healing from Hashimoto's. Okay, so I'm just very excited and very passionate. I haven't been very active this year on YouTube because I've been so focused on these clients. I finally have a little bit of a breather. Things are kind of resetting. I'm relaunching my programs. And so I wanted to get on here and be like, this is what I've learned from all these people. So when we think about the organs, right, when I was working with the client with Hashimoto's, we have to pay attention to what are foods that support the thyroid while also supporting eczema, because I don't want to sit there and like have my client eat something because it's fine for eczema, but it's actually really detrimental to her thyroid. So when we start working together, we look at all of your symptoms. I am a huge symptom tracker, and I watch a lot of doctors, so I'm not some cuckoo crazy lady on the internet. Like, I base a lot of my stuff on research articles and other, like, not other doctors insinuating I'm a doctor, but on doctors out there who are functional doctors or who are really respected in certain spaces, but on the natural side of things. And so, like, following one of the doctors, he even says with SIBO, it's best to symptom track versus try to take these tests. Anyway, that's kind of a subject I do want to dive into, is like testing, but I'll get into that in a moment once I finish this current thought. So when we're looking at your symptoms, let's say, you know, you do notice that you have sugar cravings, and every time you have sugar, you're really reactive. Okay, I'll start you out with a candida diet. And so what that looks like is we're gonna eat, like, every single client of mine eats whole foods. Like, we have to start somewhere, and I have to get you from point A to point B, and I can't do that if you eat processed foods. They're just so inflammatory. I can't tell what you're reacting to. You can't tell what you're reacting to. And so my goal is to have you learn how to listen to your body through not having so many factors. I don't know if you learned this when you were in school, but when you're running a science experiment, you have to limit the changes and the factors that's going on so that we can see what's actually happening. And that's what we do. So, okay, we're now eating, like, if you followed me for 4 seconds, you know my favorite eczema foods. You're eating salmon, cabbage, leeks, beets. You're eating, like, I do allow my clients some white rice, and you're eating like beef, or it depends on every client and your reactions and what's going on, right? We have to like kind of formulate. I do have some like starter diets, but you have to formulate it. And all you need to know is, are you having symptoms of candida? Are you having symptoms of SIBO? Are you having symptoms of histamine intolerance? Are you having symptoms of salicylate intolerance? And sometimes my clients come to me and we just don't know anything, but I make them track. And so we track that and we figure it out. So here's what I ate today, here's how I feel. And I can notice pretty quickly, oh, every time you wake up, you're actually getting worse. That's a histamine intolerance. Let's look at what happened the day before. Oh, you were outside the entire day. Well, that makes sense. Or, oh, well, you actually ate tomato sauce. That's very high in histamines. I'm sensing that your histamine tolerance isn't as high as you'd like it to be. Okay, let's say you have a histamine intolerance. What do we do about that? I'm literally building a course right now on histamine intolerance. So I'm in the process of like having solid answers to histamine intolerance. But from my light research, okay, we would implement milk thistle, you'll take stinging nettle tea, and that's going to help your body, and beef kidney for the DAO enzymes, and that's going to solve kind of one of these paths. Okay, we're also going to make sure that, you know, you're supporting a healthy gut, because most people with eczema have leaky gut. Or I really figure out, oh my God, you have non-alcoholic fatty liver. We need to get you on berberine for that. We need to do this. So basically you're building a formula that's unique to you. And I just put out this reel today that was like this lady, oh, I'm using the phone to record. I was going to show you. It's like this lady just walking, like she keeps trying to take a step in like different directions, but she's confused. And in the background I had Google, and you're just like trying to Google all this stuff about eczema. It's not about one size fits all. It's not like, oh, vegan always helps eczema, carnivore always helps eczema. It's, okay, let's slow down and figure out what's going on with your individual body. That's what I've taught every single client this entire year, okay? Yes, you can listen to my other videos, the 5 best foods for eczema, the 5 worst foods, whatever, like 5 best foods, 5 worst foods. And there may be a food in those that you're reactive to. Like, oh, the 5 best foods, salmon. And you're like, I can't have salmon. Don't eat it. It's not about following anyone else's advice out there. It's about following your breadcrumbs that your body is trying to tell you through symptoms. Yes, I do have a lot of knowledge and experience, and I've worked with people a long time, but that doesn't prevent you from also taking this journey and like figuring it out on your own, because ultimately it's being able to listen to your body. Now, I do want to go to testing. A lot of people get allergy tests, and I have a huge opinion about allergy tests that is controversial. I think they're very unhelpful and very inaccurate, and my reason is, when you are doing the research and you're learning about your body systems, you start learning about the immune system and you realize, where are allergies coming from? An overactive immune system. Why would it be overactive? Well, maybe you have leaky gut and these like intestinal permeability, and these particles of whatever is getting into your bloodstream, and now your immune system's really overactive. Or it's coming from inflammation and your immune system's trying to like figure this out and like help you, right? And so when you get this allergy test, it's foods that you used to eat all the time, and you're like, oh, I just have to cut those out and everything's fine. Then you cut them out and you still have eczema. It's because there's this gap where people aren't realizing that eczema and allergens, most of the time, there's anaphylactic allergies for sure, that's a different topic, but like food allergies and like, or even environmental allergies, like where is it coming from? It's coming from inflammation, it's coming from the same source, so you have to heal from the inside out. The other thing about testing is, the unfortunate part is a lot of mainstream tests are wildly inaccurate. Like, you can get a test done for candida, but if you haven't dissolved part of the biofilm, is candida really coming out in your stool? I don't know. We don't know. Like, maybe it's probably not. Or like there's more tests that are accurate than others, but the very like traditional testing that gets done doesn't really point you anywhere. Even SIBO testing is not accurate, because if you do a breath test, it doesn't test for hydrogen sulfide SIBO, which is a really common type of SIBO. So my philosophies are kind of like symptom track. You can work with a doctor and you can get testing and you can watch markers, that's fine, but it's not the thing that really moves the needle. Like the thing that I've watched my clients do that moves the needle drastically, it's different than like the mainstream talk about eczema. The last thing I want to say before I like close this video is a lot of people focus on environmental allergens and skin irritants. That is like a drop in the bucket, okay? It really doesn't make as large of an impact as you think. From my countless clients I've had for years and years and years and years and years and years, it's why is your body reacting to environmental allergens? Why are you reacting to dust mites? Human beings have lived in nature forever. Like, it's not normal to have all these allergens or these irritants. It's solving it. Yes, it may be helpful short term, but it's not that thing that gets you over the hump to where you're a normal human living a normal life without eczema all over your body. So with all that being said, I am offering my 8-week-long program. It's now 8 weeks. I started with a 3-month program, shifted to a 1-month program, and now I'm hitting a sweet spot of 8 weeks. You can visit my website, coachmichellemills.com/coaching, if you do want to work with me. I also have free resources on that website too, if you're not ready to invest in that. But all that being said is, you need to trust yourself a hell of a lot more, because your intuition's probably very, very correct. And yes, you can follow the other videos in here, but the best thing to do is slow down, manage your stress, eat whole foods, non-processed, follow how your body feels. Maybe it's more vegetarian based, maybe it's more carnivore based. You have to follow how you feel, okay? So thank you for watching. I'm excited to be here and share all this with you, especially after being on YouTube for years. And this is who I am now. I love YouTube because you guys can see who I am more than Instagram, because I just make quick little reels. All that being said, let me know in the comments what other videos you want to see that would be helpful in this whole thing. But I care about you and I want you to heal, and I will see you in my next video.